Donc l'école des arts décoratifs et le centre culturel suisse vous souhaitent la bienvenue à ce troisième des 6 rendez-vous du cycle, donc un déséquilibre précis à propos de l'idée que l'on a de la Suisse, proposé par donc, Philippe Millot et André Baldinger. Donc après Graphic Thought Facility donc en octobre, après Yost Ohuli en novembre, donc on accueille donc Sarah Kueng, qui avec Lovis Caputo forme le studio donc Kueng Caputo, donc installé, si je ne me trompe pas, à Zurich. Et donc merci au Centre culturel suisse donc qui nous permet de rendre possible ce cycle qui se poursuivra donc ensuite, je crois que c'est le 14 février, hein, c'est ça, c'est en février. Voilà, je vais vous passer la parole donc à Madame Hoffmann du Centre culturel suisse.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup de nouveau à l'ENSA d'accueillir ce cycle. Juste pour vous rappeler pourquoi on est là, en fait, pourquoi le Centre culturel suisse fait cette coopération. Nous sommes en travaux et donc on a voulu poursuivre ce cycle de conférences de graphisme qu'on a la tradition de faire. Et donc on a eu cette idée d'approcher une école, donc là où les futurs graphistes et designers sont, et d'apporter un programme en coopération donc avec André Baldinger et Philippe Millot. Je vous ai apporté quelques affiches de ce qu'on fait en dehors de Paris. Donc le Centre culturel suisse est en itinérance à Dunkerque, à Lyon, à Rennes, à Metz, à Bordeaux. Et donc 2 exemples de notre programmation, tout ce qu'on fait justement en dehors des partenariats qu'on a eu la chance d'établir à Paris. Je vous laisse ça ici si vous voulez jeter un coup d'œil. Et je me réjouis d'accueillir Kueng Caputo, donc Sarah ce soir, et je passe la parole à André pour faire l'introduction de notre intervenante.
Bon, pas mal de choses étaient déjà dites. Bienvenue Sarah, qu'elle forme le couple Kueng Caputo avec Lovis Caputo. Et la première fois qu'ils ont fait parler d'eux était lors de leur diplôme Haute école des arts à Zurich, qui leur a aussi valu le prix de design de ce même année en 2009. Depuis, le duo travaille ensemble et surprend aussi avec leur travail, avec le langage formel, les matériaux qui sont utilisés, les combinaisons. La côté d'expérimentation qu'il insuffle à ses projets et aussi un certain humour avec lequel tout ça est exprimé. Et dans ce sens-là, voilà, à toi. Merci beaucoup.
Okay, bonsoir. I will change to English. I would have loved to invite you all to our studio, but unfortunately that's not so easy, so I came here to Paris. I'm very happy to be here. I have to hide here to use the buttons to our presentation. I prepared actually a backstage presentation for you because I saw now we don't have so many students, we have more friends than students, but I thought I would start at the beginning. That's what we did. I took a snapshot from our studio the last day before I left. So that's what we have been working on. At the moment, these are tests we produce for a new series made out of bricks. So we play around, we make new ideas, and that's just an impression of what we have been doing. I will have some Okay, welcome. I just started, so you're right on time. This is what we did the last working day. This is Lovis, and what we do all the time are things like this. We test a lot. Which color could be the best for the border of that table? So we believe in seeing things one in one. This was just the impression we for last Friday, and I would love to start in the beginning. That was in school. There was a project. How much space do we need? And Lovis and me, we were in school together studying industrial design in Zurich, and we have been working all the time, and we didn't have any holidays. So we said, let's make some holidays in our own town, and let's make a hotel where we can go to have holidays. So for sure we cannot open a hotel. So what we try to do is offering cardboard boxes where people could rent out a room for 15 minutes or for a whole night. And this was called 72 Hours Hotel. So everybody would come and just check in these rooms, and we built all kind of different rooms. And it was in the end such a happening that everybody wanted to come, but we only had 6 rooms. And it worked like this. In the entry, you could get a model, a maquette, and you could look in the maquette, and then you would see if you want to have this room, and then you could choose a room, and it would be on the left side, you see actually the room in 1-to-1. So you book this room for one night. We had other rooms available. And because it was so much fun, we decided, we should go to Milan with this, because we knew, okay, Milan is the big furniture fair, and for the design market, this is design-interested audience is the place to be. So we were in school, and we were telling our teachers, hey, we want to go to Milan with this. And they were, okay, you cannot go to Milan with this. This is how you want to do this. This is Milan, you rent a space of 4 square meters, and it's very expensive. You cannot build a whole hall, a hotel. And we were, okay, let's figure it out. And I think it's very good to use these chances in school, because you just have help from everywhere. So you have like technicians, you have like knowledge everywhere. So we were supported in making how we get money, how we organize shipping, how we make the papers for the shipping, and all this stuff. The school will help us, and I think it was a great chance to have this help in the beginning. So we went with another hotel to Milan, and we would offer again cardboard boxes where people could have a little nap inside. And because the booth was 4 square meters, that's what you see. So we had like different boxes with different interiors, and the interiors would be made out of cardboard, and they would pop up in different decorations. So people again could choose of a little maquette, which box they would love to have a little nap, and then we would build it up, and then they would lie down and have a little nap inside. So that was we proposed there at the design fair in Milan. And then the response to this project was a huge variety. I mean, some people were like, what is this? Why is this needed to the world? And others were, wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need. I'm so tired. Bam! They were lying on the floor in the fair, and they would have a little nap. So it was like the whole range of reactions. And I think it was very good that we were just there and presenting it, and we had just to be there and get all the reactions and reflect it somehow. And in the end, this was our starting project with which we were invited over all the world. So we have been traveling with these boxes in like 6 cities all over the world. And nobody would ever have thought that this would be happening. At one point, we just became a brand. We were these Kueng Caputo cardboard girls. And we had these boxes, and we had to become a team and somehow a brand. And I think it was that's how we started, and we never had really a plan where we want to go. But things just, one thing came to the other thing. So then I would have loved to tell you a short story about our diploma. Then in Zurich, as I told you, we studied industrial design. And our diploma was, we wanted to be the first to copy our classmates. So we wanted to be the first copying the work of coming out with a copy of our classmates. So we would look at the work of our classmates and we would make a copy, like an homage to the work they were doing. And because they, as you know, a diploma is always made maybe in the last night before the diploma show. So we had before to do like other works. So we were copying just new things on the market. I have this book here, so if you, I can get it. So this was a very funny project because we would just figure out always. So it's like a publication that actually was our diploma. So you always see on the right side actually the original work of the designer, and on the left side you see our interpretation of this. So we played this with like all kinds of things. That's what we prepared, because then we knew like the last 3 days we have to copy all our classmates, and then we would make another book and with the copies of our classmates. So this was more like a command to the design market in the end. And it was about studying very precisely what actually somebody does and what is actually special about it and what makes it unique. So it's actually a study about design. And then the jury of the diploma, they didn't want to give us the diploma for the industrial design because they said, no, that's not the industrial design. That can be maybe graphic design, that can be art, that can be whatever, but not industrial design. So we were, okay, that's, we would not expect that. And then in the end, they gave it the diploma, and we won with this book the Swiss Federal Award for Design. So we won with the same book, as we nearly didn't get the diploma. We won the prize in the studio in New York. So that's, I think I want to tell this story because it's always a point of view how you look at things. It's not, nothing is yeah, if one person tells you, oh, that's shit, it doesn't mean that it's shit, because this person has maybe a bad day. That's it. And so I think it's good to just believe that if things are, you love to do them and they entertain yourself, they make you curious, and you want to test what is coming out, then it's worth doing it. So that's a long time ago. This diploma was 2008. So since then we are still a team, Lovis and me. Since then things went on and on and on. And one time we were a big company, then we were small again, and now I think we are in a good size as we love to have it. We are like 5 people and with freelancers helping us. And I want to show you 2 examples of works we did with like a backstage story, how they were developed. I have chosen the very famous one, very artistic one, because we were invited by Fendi to make a collaboration with 10 objects for them to show in Miami at the Design Miami Fair. And I think it's an interesting one to show you because they're unique pieces for a very strong branded company. And so it's not so easy to understand actually what actually should be the connection of us and Fendi. And then that's maybe the starting point of the things, is to study the facts. What does Fendi do? And what we think it's interesting for us, what they do. And they are great. They have great craftsmen and craftswomen. They have a great value in and knowledge in techniques of the hands. They have all kind of workers with a lot of traditional knowledge, and they cultivate it. They have a huge archive how they document how things are actually done, so that they are not forgotten. They teach even people old things that they will be alive forever in their idea. And the other thing is they have this crazy building as a headquarter. Maybe you know this building. This is in the Leur in Rome. It's the Mussolini built part of the city. So it's a fascist building, and they decided to have this as a headquarter. So we had this heritage which we didn't know how to deal with, and they wanted to very strongly that we would work with this building. And we had a lot of discussions, because in the end we are, Lovis and me, we drink a lot of coffee and we read a lot of newspapers and we discuss a lot of things. So what we do with this heritage, and we didn't find actually a good answer, honestly. And then we came to the facts. Okay, what we have done, what the works of ours, that would be a connection point to the Fendi building. So we had all these works that we have done previously with these arcs, and that was the study in the beginning. And then we tried to understand what actually are these arcs, because this building in Rome is so crazy, because the arches are so hyper real somehow. They're not just arches. They're more than, they're between graphic and between 3D. So what we do is we build in our studio a lot of arches. You see the collection of arches we have. We have all kinds of arches, like symmetrical arches, freeform arches, parabol arches. We have positive arches, negative arches. So we build a lot and we play. Then we try to analyze what is the negative of an arch. And this is like maybe a whole week of just arches. What about arches? What is in it? What is it actually? What we think it's interesting enough to focus on. And here you see actually the first prototype that after became a real object. This on the right side, this is the desk, which is after made in bricks. And this is a study about the shadow actually of the arch. This is the same piece, but just fall down. Maybe you see the table again. And then what we always is very important is that we zoom out. What are we doing? What do you think is actually what we are doing? Can we find out what is actually the point that is interesting for us to follow? So this is a big prototype we built as well of an arch. And then we make a plan. Then we go to the sketches, and then we decided to work with the arch in combination with the wave, which is actually a double arch, a wave. So we were trying out all kinds of materials in waves. So on the left side you see some tryouts with leather. We waved the leather, and this is on the right side is cardboard, which is waved. And in the end, we thought we would use the steel wave, the very cheap building material. But to test out things is not so practical because it's so hard to cut. So we produced a lot of cardboard waves to cut, so that we could cut out things. And the Fendi wished that we would use their leather. Their leather they use always, which is a cow leather. And we were looking for a material that would contrast the leather. That would be a nice pair. should be a pair that is not that is a little bit fighting to each other. It's not like just hand in hand with it. No, we always try to find a squeezing point, which is on the edge. So we decided to have this very natural, soft leather, which is a very strong material, and to use the brick, the construction brick, which is industrial material and is very fragile. So that's the duo we decided to use. So this is the end of the testing session, where everything is just full of cardboard, and we had to clean up to figure out how we continue. And I think it's that's maybe a good example to see. This is all built in one-to-one. So we never make actually maquettes in small, because we want to confront things in real, so we can find it out if if the interaction is interesting, if the interaction with the human or with, usually it's with the human, it's not with the animals. We don't work for animals, but in interaction with the human is interesting enough that we should continue, because a lot of things here you see it's all crap. This is never used. It's not interesting. So, but we had to test it if it works out or not. And then we decided about these two materials. We're going to use the leather and we're going to use the brick. So we will go to the professionals to learn from them. And I think that's maybe the most, after playing is my preferred part, because then you start learning from the professionals, which they know so much. And you have no chance with reading a book. It's the best to meet somebody in person, go there, bring a lot of time and study what actually the person is doing. So on the left side you see these are bricks but unfired. So a brick production is actually a big amount of clay, and the clay is taken out from the earth, usually where the fabric is, and this is through a matrix, is a shape which is cut out these holes of a brick, is pressed through. So it's a long brick coming out, like ever long, and then the machine will cut it in slices. That's how you get bricks. But then they are like this, they're actually green. They call green because they're unfired. And then they will be fired in a long, it's like a firing street. So it's not one oven firing them, it's like a whole street is passing through this street, these bricks, and they will be fired in different temperatures. So we would take from the fabric green bricks, and that would be for us easy to cut the real clay and to see actually the static thing is very different in clay than in cardboard, obviously. No, so we see here the first interesting things that are happening. If you cut the brick like this, things are opening up. If you cut it here, other things are opening up. So we come to new shapes and new negative shapes. And on the right side, you see how we learned from the leather guy. The leather guy is usually, when you come and you bring him a leather, he's touching the leather for a long time. He's making like this. Yo, come on, what's up? And then, no, wait, we soon we can start. I'm soon ready. And what he's doing actually is he's understanding which part from the cow I'm bringing, because the leather here from the cow on the back is very different than here from the arm, which was always moved, no, because it's a skin. So the part of the cow here is very different, and you can use it for different things than the part on the back or the part on the side. So he's actually trying to understand how flexible in which direction the leather is. And this is depending on where it was in the animal and how it was used for the 10 years the cow was moving, no? So we learn a lot of which part, because we got the whole leathers from Fendi. we try to understand which part of the ladder we can use for what kind of furniture and which kind of shapes we want to produce. So this is the listening part, which is always so interesting and so cool. And then this is now where production starts. After having all this knowledge, we can finalize our design, and then we can give the craftsmen and women to do their job. And it's always we are so lucky to find, like Marco, somebody who is willing to have a risk. It's because they never made this kind of table before, no? They never maybe made furniture, and they have to go a step ahead in their craftsmanship and taking a risk of maybe failing. And not everybody is ready for that, because it's as well to losing sometimes their face. A lot of people, they say, no, we cannot just, they say, no, we can't do it. And then, but we have to explain what actually we want to, what way we want to go together. And sometimes we find someone who is ready to do it, to explore the material in another way they know it. And sometimes it's not working out, so we have to find someone else. But now, finally, when we have someone like Marco, it's great, because then you know he loves to have the challenge of finding out something new. So here he's covering a part of the table. And you see, actually, he's usually producing small wallets. That was he's doing the whole day. So he actually never makes huge objects. But that's why his table is so small. So he has to work on the table because there is no space, because wallets usually they don't need so much space. So he's in Florence, and his father already had this company, and so it's a traditional company with a lot of knowledge, and they work without sewing. They only glue. So he covers here all the parts of the objects we created. And on the other hand, we found a brick cutting company who is actually producing prefab houses. They build walls, like huge walls, like 6 to 4 meters. They glue the walls all together, all the bricks, and then they will cut out the shapes of the windows and from the doors, everything. And then they will transport the whole wall to the construction site, and they will place it there, and then they will somehow connect it. And then that's how they build very fast the house. So we went to them and we asked him, can you cut us the bricks? Because we need this standard bricks, but we need it cut it in round shapes because we need arches. And then the first company, they just said, no, we cannot do this. We can only make walls. And I was, okay, this is like a wall. Can you not do it? No, we cannot do it. So we had to move on to another company. And there we found a guy who was finding out that we can just put the bricks on each other without gluing. And then this is a kind of water jet technique, and cut it like this. And this looks so easy because it's like a easy CNC technique, no? Vector into cut. But then you see all these details that here below we have bigger bricks, because the machine always needs these bigger bricks. So he had to move the whole thing a little bit up. Otherwise the machine would just go crazy and not do it. And so he made night per night to find out how to print these arches. And he made it. And then we got this huge puzzle on pallets and transported to our studio. And then we had all kinds of numbers, to reorganize this puzzle after to build the furniture. We use as well the bricks in the other direction. That's cut it in the other direction. This is, again, was a whole story how to do it. And that's what we got, is like these cutted bricks. And then we worked with a ceramist, and some parts of the bricks are glazed with glazing and fired again. So this would be the outside of the furniture, and the inside where the bricks will be glued, that they hold together, they need to be natural, otherwise the glue is not holding. So this was the puzzle we had to reconnect. And then we have like 2 architects planning this puzzle, how to redo this. And so that's how things were like put together. And then in the end, they were glued and built up. In the end, things look very shiny and very beautiful. We had these furnitures, like these tables, the desk. This is the desk you have seen cutting on the cutting machine with the water jet. Is this arch actually? But then these are just like 4 layers of bricks. So these arches need to be like this. The bricks never can be glued like this. You always have to make a little bit advanced so they stick very well. So that's this very simple table you have seen as well in cardboard. And then here we have the construction metal, which is all covered in leather, which you have seen at Marco's place. Yeah, these are the final products. Yeah, we had as well to develop a Fendi bag. So that's how it looks. Yeah. This is the whole group, and this whole thing was, they asked us in May, and in September things had to be shipped, and in December things were shown in Miami. So that's more or less how our time schedule works. Usually, people are always so short time. They come actually just before they fall off the table. So they come and say, hey, can you not bring us a solution? And then it's always great because we have a lot of documentation, as you see. So a lot of things they just skip out because on the way of production, there is a lot of reasons why things are not coming to an end. But we have a big archive of things that we have in our mind that we think sometime they will have the right moment to become something. So in this case was as well this, that we knew some, with this glazing of bricks, one day we wanna do something. So it was great to have things ready, even if they're not finished, but to have them still in a folder and not just thrown away. This is them. So I will pass you through this to touch this sample of the glazing. It's maybe good so you don't sleep. You can touch this. And I will tell a story of another project, which is actually still is the project which we are working at the moment. This will be finished next summer, and this is a whole school building. And it's our first project that takes 2 years. We have a lot of time for development. We are not like just rushing and running. It's really well organized. It's a school. It's a school that nurses will be educated. So a lot of young people will be there. So the situation is this. There is already a building. It looks more or less like this. And then an architecture company had the job to make a school out of it. So they made a lot of classrooms, bam, 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 for so many students. Here they have to eat. Here's the fire exit. Here's the toilet. They structure it very, very, how you say, very fast, with not a lot of heart, but with a lot of solutions. And the city, oh no, not the city, the region, who is actually the owner then of the school, they were not happy. So they came to us and said, hey, we make a new school. It's for the future. It's actually the care jobs. They're very important for the future. We want to have a feeling there that people who go to this school, they feel a value in making these studies. Because they will work in hospital, they will work with the elderly home, they will work with kids, it's a very human job. So we need to have a school that somehow is representing this. Could you not think of the entry area that maybe gives a different feeling, that will touch the students or touch the visitor, that they would love to be there? So we were, yeah, for sure. That's very interesting, because we always wanted not to work only for this gallery 1% market, to work as well for the normal people, as our friends are. So we proposed them actually a very simple idea, that the whole hallways, every public space in the school will be a hanging out area. That will be like a piazza through the whole building. So the staircase, the hallways, the entrance, the mensa, and the outside area will all have the same furniture and tables, which the students can use themselves and connect them, or like put them where they need it. So we came up with this model. You see this maquette. Here we had to make a maquette. And this was the proposal, having some huge tables and then a lot of stools and a lot of little tables and benches on all the walls. And so make the students, like the school, more a place where they want to be and not just leave after school, no? Because they are like between 15 years old and 20 years old. So usually they live at home, but maybe at home they don't have their privacy. So the idea was that they could hang out in the school, because the school stays open till 11. So it was actually meant to be a place where they should live. So then the idea was that the outside would have the same furniture as the inside, and it would be all like very accessible. And on the 6th floor, there would be a kitchen, and the students could cook when they want to cook, or at least heat up something. This is the 6th floor. So that's the presentation that we gave them. And the school has 6 floors. And this is the plan of the school. So you see all the public area. We would start taking care. So this is the red things are the benches, and the circles are the tables, and that's the parts we would take care. And then we said, but what about the rest of the interior? They said, yeah, no, it's everything planned. It's everything done. They ordered linoleum, and they will paint the walls white, and the furniture are ordered. And we said, okay, but it's a little bit a pity. We would have an idea. We could propose you something. And they say, yeah, why don't you propose us something? A little bit annoyed. And we were, okay, but we have a good idea. We take the same linoleum for the same price. Each floor has a different color, and all the walls of the rooms have the one color. So always the room on the left angle will always be pink, and then on the next floor here you will see the wall is pink, and the floor will be another one. So each room will become unique. So this is a top view. So it's a top view, and these things, what you see here is the wall color, and this is the linoleum color, the flooring color. So we would order, so these are the renderings we made. So you see here the solution for the yellow floor in the, I think it's the 2nd floor, and the blue floor is, I guess, in the 3rd level. And then you have always this combination. So it's a color matrix. So actually you can orientate yourself by colors in which floor you are and in which room you are. And we would have no more costs. This would be the same costs and a completely different feeling of the place. And they liked the idea. So we would order all kinds of linoleums that are existing in Europe. We found 3 companies and we ordered the whole assortment they have, and we picked out the most beautiful ones and the most combinable ones. So we would paint big plates of colors. You see here, these are 2 examples. We made all these huge plates of colors, and then we would just have them in our studio and check what is happening if I spend a lot of time in front of this color. So for instance, some colors, they were making you angry after the 3rd day. You think about, no, I just can't. I can't anymore. This is not a good color. So we would test out a lot of colors, like for a month, having them in our studio in these big plates, and then we would combine them with the floors and with the lines here. These are like this blue, I don't know the name in English. So they have all as well different colors. And so we were sure that because everybody who was working in our studio, they had to comment all the time what they feel about the color, how they feel about the color. And if just somebody had a nervous comment about one color, we had to kick it out. But in the end, we found like 14 colors that we think give you a very different feeling in the room, and they're not disturbing you. We hope that it's working out for all the rest of the people as well. But at least we checked our V5, we checked it. And then the next step was to check it in the actually in the rooms. So this is now on the construction site. So you see this part of linoleum is 2 per 2 meters, and then there are like the tests, which we bring actually to exactly the room where it will be painted, because the first floor has a different light than the 5th floor, and the room on the north side has a different light than the room on the south side. So we had to check all the colors again by the actual situation, and we had to adapt. I think 3 colors we had to adapt. I mean, this is not such a good documentation. This is just for us. It's not like, you see, it would be always the same yellow, but it's not, you have to imagine this. And this is, I don't remember, maybe this is the 4th floor, and the very dark one is the 5th floor. And I think this was a very important part to do this on the construction site, to carry this heavy linoleum piece from room to room and roll it out again and put again the plate and look at it very close, look at it from distance, feel it, and then roll it in, bring it to the next room, roll it out, do it this for a whole day, you know. So this is actually what is now they painted. So when I'm back, I will see how all the rooms are painted, and I hope we had a good decision. And parallel to this, we started developing the furnitures for the public area. So there were all these columns which are existing in the building. So we used them for the tables, and then we would always collaborate with some carpenter, and they would make us the samples, and then we would invite people to stand on this table, and we would see how they use it, if it's working, if it's not working, and things like this. And you see on the left side, we simulate this column in our studio, and then we attach this table. So, and then you see, for instance, because the carpenter then produced us this and this. And this has a cut here, because if you have to attach something around the column, you need to have 2 pieces, otherwise you cannot get into the column, only if you come from the roof. But this is not possible, so they planned it like this, and then we noticed this is so stupid, because if you clean it, if the cleaning person comes every day and cleans this with the cleaning, there is always a wet moment in this joint. So this will be in a bad condition very soon. So then we told them we need another solution, because the cleaning person, they usually don't have time to have special treatments for things that they would clean next to the line like this. So we would have to think of everybody, the ones who is using it, but the ones who are cleaning it, the ones who has to install it. All these are actually our partners, and we have to find the best solution for all of them. So now there's a joint in the back. But it's good to see things in real, because then you notice, oh, no, that's not a good idea. And this is an example for there will be high tables to eat in the 6th floor, and there will be low tables, the green part, and the pink part is the high table, and there will be columns. So we test every detail, and we try to figure out it as close as we can get in architecture by modeling it here up in our studio. So we would build a column, we would make these tables to find out what is the best solution to have these joints of the two tables. And here you see the first prototypes of the furniture. This, after all this cardboard crap, this comes from the welder, from the carpenter, from the person who is the benches are covered as well with the linoleum, the same as the floor. So this will be like the finishing of the objects, just to make the twist from the cardboard to the final materialization is a big gap. And usually we don't show the cardboard because people are afraid to see that. They think, no, that's not coming good. But then if they see this, they can imagine that there will be a beautiful solution in the end. We are doing as well the lightening, because then things went on. They asked us again and again and again, and in the end we do a lot in this building. So we do as well the lightening. And these are the heads you have seen in the beginning in the studio. These are these lamp shades here is again is a material development we make. It's something that is not existing, but we found this wallpaper, which is actually a little bit like a clay. So it's a liquid wallpaper, and if we brush it on this grid, this grid usually is used for the mortar on the wall. Like whole in the isolation thing has this grid below, and we made tests in this because it will be a very nice lightening as a combination. This I bring because I think it's interesting to see how many tests things need till they are where they are. So these are just different tests, and you will see some of them they don't hold enough because the glue is not right. Some of them they may be just ugly, and then there are different grades. So I will give you this just to touch because I think it's very nice to have the haptic moment. And these are the lampshades that will be part of the interior in the school. So we make then a small production for these lampshades, because maybe that's an important thing in the beginning of the project. They said, yeah, there is no extra money. The thing is already, the budget is closed. So we will come up with the solution with the linoleum, as you told, and they said the budget for the furniture as well is closed. And then we made a calculation and said, but for that money that you're going to buy furniture, we can produce furniture in the region. And we made this proposal, coming up with this furniture you have seen before, that we produce them all around Zurich. So if we don't buy things and we triple the price by the dealer, if we have the whole money to just invest it in the production, we can produce actually everything in the region. Even Switzerland and France has very high labor prices. So actually they didn't believe us that this would be possible, and then we made them the whole calculation, and we can do now everything. And for them it's a very interesting example, because they would never have thought that this would work out. So this is the political part in this whole project, that we actually bring a lot of work now into region, and they develop new things in there for this school. So the school has unique stools, unique lamps, everything, for the same price actually they would just buy from whatever seller. Just buy these stools, no, from whoever does it. And it works out. Till now the plan works. I think there is always a lot of more possibilities than we think. For instance, we found out that if we're going to order more than 1,500 square meters of the floor, we can develop our own floor pattern. So we would start to collaborate with the linoleum company and say, but okay, then can you not mix it? Can we not mix it? They said, oh, yeah, maybe, yes, we should ask. I mean, if you order that much, why not? So we would, they would make with the hand machine the samples for us and come up with this combination, which is now the unique floor for the whole ground floor. It's a normal linoleum, but just a different color pattern. And this is now the pattern combination. You see the lampshade with all these granulates coming together with the floor with all the granulates. And then we have for the kitchens as well, we have this, found this company who is producing actually plates using other broken plates. So they would make concrete out of leftovers, and it's as well the same aesthetic as the flakes and the lamps who are coming here together. So as well, this is in the end is a handmade unique plate, and somebody has work and can make a great job, and it looks fantastic, and it's the same price as we order it, the metal thing. So they came to us and said, now we started to work with you. Don't you have more ideas? We need more ideas. So that was the turning around, no? So we come up with the outside area to install like these glass things are existing, but we would just put color foil on it so that the color would, when the sun turns, the color would walk into the building from the outside. So that's now the installation in front of the school. Then we would open up the wall from the library. We would make a whole wall which is opening up. So the wall is actually a table. So the library is more inviting and is not hidden behind the wall. And it has like working places in the shelf. And then in the evening you can close these doors. I think this will be a very, very beautiful library because it's so very narrow. It's a little bit like the hallways actually you have here with this dark red. And then in the other side you see in the whole opening the mensa, and on the other side you see in the outside. And you would work in these little places here in the library between the books. And on the left side, you see how we tested what size we need that is comfortable to sit in this shelf. Because sometimes if you sit between very narrow walls, it's not comfortable. So we build up these walls and we hang the light to find out what is a good proportion to spend time in this shelf. Then they would ask us to find a solution for the aula. The aula is the big room they use for presentations, as this one, and for the exams and for events. So we would propose a stage, which is actually built out of 5 pieces. This is in front that you could use as well as elements. to often have little stages or to make an exhibition or just to sit on is the same size height as a chair. And we will bring curtains into this room that you could use very freely. So these lines, which are like the waves, these are the curtains. So this is the test of the stage. So this element here would be the element here on the left, this size. And the middle part here, we tested if you have a conference on the stage with these 3 stools, and the table is this part, and then there's a second part of the round piece. So this is in our garden, actually. We have a lot of place. And then again, we had these curtains in our studio to find out what the colors is giving you a nice ambience. What is, how does it feel with having this around? What combination is good? What is too much? What is making you nervous? Yeah, that's where we are at the moment in this project, and that's where we finish here. Oh, that's the last.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah, for this presentation. And I don't know what is your sensation, but I was very much thinking about we are in the digital age with a lot of simulations of a situation where you can all build up in the computer. And what you have shown, that everything that you do it in real. That means it's all in your space. It's with the materials that you can handle, that you can manipulate yourself. And I mean, I don't think it's exceptional, but I think it's now it becomes rarer and rarer to design and to make it like this. So perhaps you can tell us something about what is your access to it, or why didn't you go into try out tools that are today now very often used. So perhaps you have a word to this.
I mean, whole plannings like the library, we have to do it in digital way, no? How we found out that we have so many square meters of books, how you enter them in we cannot test at all in our studio, makes no sense. But how it feels to be between these arrows, these shelves, these long shelves, we cannot test it in a 3D program. We can do it, but we are never in there. We never feel the material. We never feel the real height of the shelf. So Lovis, she's actually the average of a Swiss woman from the size. She's 165, and I'm the average of the Swiss man. I'm 78. So we are both the average. we test everything of the, can she get it? Is it still comfortable for me, or is it too small? You know, we are not all the same. So it's very good to have as many as possible to test it out. In the end, we invest so much energy and resources and money as well to build something like this. And if it's built crappy, it's just not useful. It's just, we shouldn't have done it. So better test it before. And what we have been professors at the University of Architecture, so the last 2 semesters in Lausanne. And architecture is very hard to test because it's a different scale. But a lot of things you can test because a lot of things are already built in our city. A lot of things we can build by beaming it, by somehow just get as close as possible and just confront it, no? And that's why I bring the samples. I'm as well, I hate if things are not made to touch. I mean, if they just have no idea what they use. Now it should just be red, whatever it feels like. It's just red. That's what's happening in a rendering. The rendering would never ask you, but how should it feel? Should it be cold? Should it be warm? Should it be soft? Should it be... what's happening with your senses? No, this will just not be asked as a parameter in a 3D tool. So there are a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I completely understand this, and I think that's really experiences that you cannot really replace by digital things. And are there questions from your side, things that you wanted to ask to Sarah?
Thank you, Sarah, for your intervention. And you build models, but would you like to build things? I mean, the real object. For example, when I've seen what you've done for Fendi, and you work with craftsmen or craftswomen who are very good skills, but would you like to build the object on your own?
Yeah, I love to build objects by my own, but I cannot be a professional for everything. So Lovis, at least she's a welder. She's just formed a welder, so at least she knows how welding works. But I am not. So we do some objects ourselves, like we had made this sand chair series, or these bricks, actually we built them in the studio, so we have people helping us there to build it. And I think it's, in the beginning I thought I could learn everything, but to be a master in something, it takes a lot of concentration. It takes years to focus on something, and I just have no chance to learn that all. Yeah, because it's a dialogue in the end. I would ask you, with my sketch, I come to you, you would read that sketch, so you would make up your mind out of my sketch, so it would be already a step further on. You will come back with something to me, and I have a surprise, and that's a very beautiful moment. So it's a little bit like having Christmas all the time, because somebody else is giving their comments to what you do and helping you with bringing it into their best form. So, yeah, I think it's great to collaborate with different people because they help. They all know so much, which is a surprise for us. Yeah.
For the same last project that you presented, you were talking also about the color schemes that you developed and that you stayed 5 days to feel the atmosphere and the light and everything. Is this installed now, and are the people already there, and do you have a feedback about that?
Not yet. The school will open summer 23. So they're just painting now. So when I'm back, all the rooms will be painted. And then, let's see. Let's see. But till now, I think, because we share the studio, we have our studio in a hall with other people. So we always eat lunch all together. So we would ask always everybody to come and test things. So it's a lot of feedback already there. So we are looking forward that it will be great.
Yeah. Okay, other questions?
I wanted to ask, and thinking about the students as well, between the Fendi project and this nurse school project, what you produced then is sold. Concerning Fendi, I guess it's Fendi edition, and you are holder of the copyright of the works, but they are the producer, and they will not distribute, but I mean they are the owner of the objects. And here it's more kind of an open door where those objects they will not be editor of those objects. So if you like the stool you did for this nurse school, then you could collaborate maybe in the future with a designer edition house and produce others? Or is this something you think about that is important about the future of the object you do for one project? If what they become after, can you open it to larger public? Someone that
till now we never really made plans in our life, so we don't have a plan what is happening to this, but we have tried some things like that we will make up a limited edition, we make up a whole like development how to produce it, and then we have the whole knowledge how to produce it, and then we will ask a company, do you want to produce it? And actually it never worked out. So it was never that actually any objects that we decided we just have it already ready and you just could take it and do it, that this was never happening for different reasons. But usually when it comes to a serial production, we would start from scratch with that company, with what they can do and what they want to have in their brand and in their collection. No? So actually this just never worked out. But I mean, a lot of things never worked out, I must say as well. It's like, that's a reality too.
So the Fendi bag was never produced as a serial product?
No, it was never meant to be produced. So they wanted it to produce it, but then they had a problem with the law, these contract problems. Fendi's as well is a huge company, so they have different companies in the company. And it was meant to be an artist bag, 2 artist bags, and that's it, that was in the contract. And then when they thought of let's do it I think somebody had the idea, let's do it, more of them, it was too complex for the contract stuff. But it was not in our hand, it was like their internal email generation. I don't know.
Other questions from the public?
Yeah, I have a question to the color schemes. So it's because there is especially this green color, which reminds me of hospital colors. So I was wondering if, in the context of this nurse school, you were also looking at colors where they would work, or also this light yellow is something that you might have seen in elderly homes, or so there are colors that will come to them in their working career. And so I was wondering, is it also something that you look at, or is it more phenomenological, the combination of colors that you go to and how you react to it physically in their presence?
So we had a lot of discussions with the leader of the schools and with some students that will not be in that school, but they're now in school, about colors. And what we found out is that going to school is like 2 days a week. The rest of the week they are in hospital in the apprenticeship. So going to school is like they're going out. Like they dress up very much because they don't have to wear a new uniform, which they usually have to do in the hospital, in the clinic. So they come to the school and it's like they're all very pimped. So actually the school was very open-armed with this idea of a lot of colors, because they knew that this part of their life is the one that they are free to do. Actually, it's more the free part of what to do. So they would tell us, just use, we just embrace the concept of having a lot of colors, whatever you choose. But they didn't like the green. So the green was out, this was out, this was out. So now it's actually these 3 colors. These 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3.
Last question. Otherwise, you're all invited to have a glass and some little things to eat. Is it ready, Emmanuel? Nearly. And it could be also a privileged moment to have a talk with Sarah. Okay, thank you very much.